and welcome to the Lenten series, The Cross Speaks. Today is Friday, the 15th of April, 2022, the 7th Friday of Lent, Good Friday. We are going to reflect on the Gospel according to Luke, chapter 23, verses 44 to 46. Let's open our hearts and listen. It was now about noon, and darkness came over the whole land until 3 in the afternoon, while the sun's light failed and the curtain of the temple was torn in two. Then Jesus, crying with a loud voice, said, "Father, into your hands I commend my spirit." Having said this, he breathed his last. The Gospel of the Lord. In today's many lists of abbreviations and short forms, I recall that A.S.A.P stands for as soon as possible. I later discovered another extension for it, which is much more beautiful and can become an acronym for us to follow, where A.S.A.P stands for Always Say a Prayer. If we follow the life and ministry of Jesus, we observe that he was always immersed in prayer. He did nothing without praying about it first. He prayed when he was baptized. He prayed at the beginning and end of each day that involved preaching and ministering to people. He spent an entire night in prayer before choosing the 12 apostles. He gave thanks and prayed before feeding the 5,000. He went up the mountain to pray when he was transfigured. He rejoiced and prayed when the 70 returned from their successful mission. We find him praying at the beginning of his passion at the Garden of Gethsemane. There was no pretense or pride in his prayer, just pure honesty, humility, and faith. He also prayed at the end of his life on the cross, submitting his spirit and surrendering himself to God's will, trusting his steadfast love and divine plan. Love and surrender are synonymous. Hence here his surrender did not signify defeat like in a war, but it meant offering up and emptying himself to the one whom he loved and trusted completely. Jesus prayed in every kind of situation because he felt God's love and presence in everything. And each time he prayed, he united himself with the Father and the Holy Spirit, who guided and strengthened him. Performing the will of God became the signature of the Son of God only through the power of prayer. How different Jesus must have seemed to the crowds and to all the Roman soldiers around. After all the cruel torture, humiliation, and pain that they had inflicted upon him, he did not curse or abuse them, but instead he prayed for them and forgave them. All of this touched and transformed the heart of the centurion, who landed up praising God and testifying that Jesus was innocent and indeed the Son of God. How powerful was his prayer on the cross that tore down the curtain of hatred and became a bridge of love, faith, and hope for all of humanity. If we only discover the power of prayer, we will rid ourselves of needless fear, worry, heartache, and complications of life. Prayer does not promise to take away our pain and struggles. Like Jesus, we too must go through them. But prayer does promise to be a channel of hope, strength, direction, and wisdom that helps us to handle and navigate through everything that life has in store for us. Not just today on Good Friday, but in every situation of life, let us look to the cross and we will find our answer. It will guide us to pray and to surrender ourselves to the will of God. And in that surrender, we will find his peace, his strength, and his grace. So then, let us remember to always say a prayer. During this season of Lent, I sincerely thank you for journeying with The Cross Speaks, where we together discovered that the cross stands for Christ's resurrection, our salvation story. Let us now await his resurrection with joy and hope. God bless you.